Kicking a guest out of your home isn't as easy as you might think. It may cost you money and plenty of time in a courthouse.
And even then, not a guarantee, which is why you might need Michelle Mortensen on your side. She joins us with a story that's sure to make you a little mad.
Yeah, I'll be honest, this story has made me very mad over the course of several months because evicting someone is tough. And let me tell you, it takes forever. In fact, it's going to take me 2 days just to tell you this story. So today I want to introduce you to Blanche, the little old lady who had a guest overstay their welcome, putting her through hell.
This modest home is where Blanche Flaster is supposed to live out her golden years. But instead, it's more like a prison.
So he's just been living here with you?
Yes.
Rent-free?
Yes.
Blanche is 72 and sick.
I'm not healthy every day that I can fight this battle.
She needs a new liver, but even more than that, she needs her home back. See, many years ago, Blanche and this man, Gustavo Juarez, were friends. So when he needed a place to stay, she agreed to help.
Was the understanding that he was just going to be a guest for a few days?
Well, or until he got a job.
But he never got a job. And now 2 years later, he refuses to leave.
Have you told him you want him to leave?
Oh, definitely.
How many times?
Oh, several. I mean, almost to a daily basis.
She called the cops, but they couldn't help. See, by law, he had a right to stay there because he'd established residency. Her only option was to evict, which she did try to do several times. But due to technicalities, each case was thrown out. So I stepped in. To avoid court, I did try reasoning with Gus.
Excuse me, Gus?
But he hid from me. So days later,
Gus, it's Michelle with Channel 8.
I tried again.
Have you given any more thought to the eviction notice you've received?
No, I already told you. I want to go to court.
But he wasn't budging.
Are you going to leave?
Eventually, yeah.
And if you're wondering what eventually means, he eventually told me.
On my time. I will be on my time.
Now tomorrow, you'll watch me jump through hoops, fill out paperwork, spend money and a lot of time in court just to kick this guy out of her home. Spoiler alert, even after we won, he still got to stay several days. This story will shine a light on just how crazy the eviction process really is. And here's an interesting fact too. My friends over at the Self-Help Center at the courthouse say this is extremely common. Older people allowing someone to live with them for a short time and then you get stuck in these types of situations. So this isn't a rarity at all. It's quite common.
It's incredible. It's hard to wrap your brain around the fact that there's legality involved here, that there's rights with the person who's just like, I'm going to stay.
Because after you've stayed for a long enough time, you truly have established residency. You're getting mail there, you've lived there, so you become a tenant, even if there's no lease, no written agreement, nothing at all.
We look forward to tomorrow's report.
I'm watching for the follow-up.
I'll be here.
See you then, Michelle.
Thank you, Michelle. Well, getting a house guest to leave your home, it shouldn't be a trial, but unfortunately in Nevada, it is literally.
Eight on your sides, Michelle Mortensen joins us now, exposing the big problem some people face when trying to evict a house guest.
Yeah, this is so frightening. Get this, if you have a house guest in your home and they're there long enough, they've established residency in your home, and that means you can't kick them out. Instead, you've got to evict them, and that is a long and laborious process.
I hate doing this to him, but it's just like I can't have my privacy.
72-year-old Blanche Flaster lived by herself for years until this man, Gustavo Juarez, came for a visit.
I said, well, you could stay with me.
She thought Gus would stay with her for a few weeks while he found a job. But weeks turned into years.
I want him to get off his ass and get looking for a job.
When her health took a turn for the worse,
and I'm waiting for a liver transplant.
She asked me to step in and talk some sense into him.
Why do you stay when you're not welcome? You don't pay rent. She doesn't want you here. Why would you stay?
I don't have to answer to you.
But when that didn't work, I agreed to help Blanche through the eviction process. She had tried it on her own several times, but each one got thrown out on a technicality. That's when I learned she had to follow a very specific system. File a 30-day eviction, then a 5-day, then a 24-hour, then go to court. It was a lot of legwork, a lot of forms, and a lot of money. But 57 days after we began, we finally landed here.
Was Blanche Foster versus Gustavo Juarez.
And within about 15 minutes, Blanche won.
Your request for summary eviction is granted.
But even winning didn't get Gus out of her home right away. We had to go fill out more forms and pay more money at the constable's office, who gave him another 24-hour notice to vacate. We were all set to evict on Friday, February 13th. But 1 hour before it was set to happen, Gus pulled a Hail Mary. He filed a motion to stay, and the process stalled again, giving him even more time in Blanche's home. The stay was denied 4 days later, but even that didn't bring this story to a close. After the ruling, Gus started to move out. It didn't go smoothly. Blanche says Gus cleaned out her home, taking her appliances, her ceiling fans, almost everything she owned. The cops were called several times, but they couldn't stop Gus from taking the items, saying it was a civil matter.
67 days after this story began, I can officially say case closed. The lockout happened yesterday afternoon. Gus wasn't there. He moved out overnight, taking everything with him, including Blanche's belongings. Now, locksmith Robert Reyes changed the locks at Blanche's house free of charge just to help her out. So we actually do have a happy ending. Sort of. This story definitely shined a light on the eviction process. And if you think it seems unfair after seeing this story, you are not alone. That said, I have one thing I have learned. If you are faced with going through this yourself, go to the Self-Help Center at the courthouse for assistance. It's run by Legal Aid, it's free, and they gave me the most accurate information. In fact, I regret not going to them first. If I had, I could have saved myself weeks of work filing a different type of eviction that the constable's office never bothered to tell me about. Now, since I started this process, things at the constable's office have changed. Metro is now in charge over there, and that could make a difference in their effectiveness, but if not, let Sheriff Lombardo know. And now you know.
Wow.
Okay, first of all, great
Free
job.
legal aid, yeah.
Because this was a victory in the end.
Yes.
Quick question. When he took Blanche's belongings, how is that a civil matter? Isn't that property theft essentially?
But if he was considered, right, legally able to be there, then it's like, what, splitting up the belongings?
And this is where it gets really, really difficult. It's hard to decide, and a judge needs to decide, and that's why it is called a civil matter.
Understand. Unbelievable
Yeah.
what she went through.
Yeah.
Well done, bringing her some resolution there.
Way
Michelle.
to step
Yeah.
in, Michelle.
Yeah.